A very good day to you. Thank you so much for watching. This is a interview. I've got Coach Phelan, who's the current owner of the Phelan Academy. This is an academy which is located in Centurion. Phelan has been in this golf industry for a very long time. He's worked with players on the European Tour, on the Sunshine Tour, the Big Easy Tour, and some of the provincial players that we'll find in the country, as well as some of the amateurs who are doing well around the country. Coach Phelan believes that all players are individuals and that they should be coached accordingly to their individual needs. His philosophy covers the physical, mental, and technical as well as tactical aspects of the game. He regularly consults with the top psychologist and biokineticist to fulfill his philosophy. Carl, thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Lenny. Yeah, all good, and you?
Very well, thanks. Carl, this week we are expecting the major, the first major to take place, the US Open. Of all the top players, the likes of Tiger Woods, Brooke Koepka, Rory McIlroy, which horse are you bidding on in this major?
Yes, I think obviously Brooks always brings it when it comes to the majors. Somehow he has this mental capacity where as soon as it gets tougher and it gets more important, he plays better. And it looks like he hit a little bit of form the last couple of weeks. So if I had a pick, I'll definitely pick Brooks this week.
Yeah. I'm definitely rooting for him as well. So excited to see. And any South Africans of Sean Schwartzel, Ernie House, Brandon Grace? Brandon Grace obviously out now because he tested positive with the virus. But of the remaining South African stars, do you think any of the players stand a chance?
Yeah, I think again, as one of the South Africans that always come out when majors hit is Louis Oosthuizen, and I think he's going to have a good tournament again. Yeah, if I had to choose a South African, it would probably be him.
Awesome. Carl, just tell me a little bit, how did the Phelan Academy come about? It's something that you must have worked hard to build to what it is today. How did you put the puzzle together?
Yeah, so so it was founded about a couple of years back, where we did start it. Going back, I actually worked for the High Performance Center at the university for years before that, and that's where I studied and got my degree in sports science and my PGA Diploma. And an opportunity came up at Centurion Country Club where I was able to follow my own path, if that makes sense, where I was able to put in what I believe is correct and what I think will make people better golfers and better people moving forward. And the opportunity came along and I took it with open arms. And yeah, it's been hard work up until now and it will continue being hard work, but it's really great to have something that you believe in so much that you're going to push yourself to be better every day.
That's incredible. A lot of students on campus sometimes wonder about that paradox of taking opportunities. What is the most important thought that you can share about looking at opportunities and making the right decisions when they're in front of you?
Yeah, so for myself, I'm quite a cynic when it comes to making decisions where I need all the information in front of me before I make a decision. So I would put, for me, if you're ever looking at an opportunity, something that might be uncomfortable, always put it down on a piece of paper, put it down on a computer and sort of come up with all the different ways that you can make this opportunity work, all the different ways that it might not work, and then you can sort of make up your mind from there. It's a lot easier having all the information in one spot and being able to make a good decision. It might be risky, but at least you put in all the work in order to limit the risk as much as possible.
Yeah. Picking a golf philosophy is a risky business. How did you go about deciding what your philosophy to the game is, and what is your philosophy?
So I was very lucky with some of the best coaches in the country growing up as a player, which was awesome. So I got I got taught many different ways of doing things, many interesting ways of doing things. And it was nice to have all this from the top guys, to have all this information I can draw from. And when I started sitting down and started writing down sort of what my philosophy would be and how I would approach people, it sort of came in also sort of from the TPI side, which is the Title Performance Institute, that each person is an individual and you've got to treat them as so. Whether it be the physical, the mental, the tactical, all of those things that I work on, that everyone is an individual. I might have my preferences, but it might not work for John or whoever it might be. I need to then figure out a way for that person to still be effective and still be at the highest of his level, still be effective and still compete as high as possible. So my philosophy is I have some preferences, but I do take the individual and the person as a whole and make a plan for that person.
That's fantastic. That's incredible. I think a lot of the players who perhaps join golf, sometimes they're lucky to join when they're very young, and their parents introduce them to the game when they're very young. And sometimes people join the game when they're much older. But you have the privilege of working with really young golfers and golfers that are on the other spectrum who are much older. How do you find the balance of coaching the different age groups and their different needs?
Again, I think I was very lucky where I have been able to work with everyone. So and if you go into anything, and I think it's going back to the opportunities, if you go into anything, you can learn from the smallest thing and you can learn from the biggest thing. So being able to work with every type of golfer, every age, every ability, whatever it might be, has given me the opportunity to sort of learn how to deal with each person's individually. So how to deal with a 5-year-old that's playing golf for the first time, how to deal with a CEO that's just started playing golf at 50 years old, how to deal with them mentally and how to implement the best parts or implement a way that they can get the best value out of their game. So I think it definitely comes down to having the opportunity to deal with everyone and learning from everyone. One of my philosophies or sayings that I give to my coaches, I always say, your toughest client is your best client. Don't hide away from that.
Wow, toughest client, that's wise. Carl, Mike, let me just push you to the boundary here. Gary Player, who's very known around the world, and obviously his contribution to golf in South Africa, he believes that he can take any able-bodied person and like make them a scratch golfer. Can you, probably do the same?
Yeah, so again, there's a lot of different factors, but if that person's able to give me the time, let me evaluate the game as a whole, him as a person as a whole, then it could be possible. Again, it's going to come down to, I can take the horse to the water. Whether that horse is going to drink or not is up to them. So it's definitely possible. But yeah, it will come down to the time that the person will be able to put in, the amount of effort they'll put in, the information given to them. Do they understand it, and are they able to implement it themselves?
Fantastic. So I guess if you're trying to get into golf, you can put that test to Carl and see if he can make you a scratch golfer in no time. But Carl, who are some of your top students currently?
Yeah, so I've got players. A player on the European tour who's Jacques Kruiswijk. He had a tough year last year, but we're coming back strong this year. Again, this game is such a so mentally tough that you're going to have your ups and downs, and being able to come back from those ups and downs is important. Then I've got a few guys on the Sunshine Tour that play locally on the tour. I've got a few guys on the Big Easy Tour. I've got a few Gauteng North players in the junior section. So I've got a very wide variety of sort of players that are coming through, which is great.
That's exceptional. I think that proves that your philosophy in golf is working. For some people who are new to the game of golf, there is a notion that it is too pricey. How is your academy making it more accessible, more affordable for the average person who probably wants to try this wonderful game?
Definitely, and I agree with you. I think golf as a whole is very expensive, and it's very difficult to put out that money when you obviously, a lot of people, especially now, need it somewhere else. So during lockdown, where we weren't able to work, was actually a great opportunity to come up with initiatives and ways where we are able to sort of negate that sort of that boundary towards golf. So how can I help someone that can't afford face-on-face lessons every single week to get as good as they want to be able to go onto the golf course and do some business meetings, go onto the golf course and compete with their friends, become a member of a golf club. So during lockdown was a prime example of, I did a lot of online sort of learning, and it was awesome to see how much people improve sort of online. So we've taken an approach with our golfers and beginners that we'll try lower the price as much as possible by introducing the online, where we're going to be going seeing you in person a lot less, which obviously drives down the cost, but you can also do a lot of the stuff at home. So we do a lot of online stuff to help the people, which at the end of the day, with the improvements we saw during lockdown and with the less time value based on face-to-face lessons, we drove down the price quite low down compared to previous.
Wow. And of that, on that online offering, Carl, there's a PGA Diploma is something that people obviously acquire through going through to the PGA schools. Do you think that's something that can be offered online in the long term?
Yeah, so I mean, what we're going to be doing from now, and it's actually something that, something again during lockdown, and something that we saw actually with the schools. So with the schools being mostly online and the kids being able to actually still continue studying, I've partnered with McKinley and Reed down in George, where they run a sort of online school. And during this lockdown, we were able to see that kids are able to do work, if guided correctly, they're able to do work by themselves. So partnering up with McKinley and Reed was a great way to give the opportunity to kids between grade 8 and 12, the opportunity to study online and focus actually a lot on their golf. When I have a case study at the moment, a guy that went to school around here, and we worked out the amount of hours that he is able to play golf a week at his school. And we worked it out about 13 hours a week he was able to dedicate to his golf. And this is a 15, 16-year-old. So TPI, in terms of long-term athlete development, they say you need to be doing at least about 27 hours a week on your golf. And so he was falling about halfway behind, about 50% behind. So then we plugged in sort of online learning and ways for him to play a lot more golf and work his golf around his online learning. And we got his hours straight up to 27 hours. So he's gaining close to 700 hours a year on what he would have at his normal school, let's call it that. So in terms of if you want to be a professional golfer, you want to potentially study at a college in the United States, or you just want to see how good you can get and get a high quality education, we've sort of put all of this into one program so that we can give them the best opportunity to reach their highest levels. One of my philosophies as well is, unfortunately, there's always a risk in everything you do, where it's similar to the lotto, where if there are 6 numbers in the lotto, I want to give you 5 numbers, and I want that 6th number to have a better chance of hitting. Where if you do not put in the hours, the correct amount of hours, do not get the correct education, you're not mentored by someone that believes in you and that you can look up to, you're only going to have 2, 3 of those lotto numbers. So then it's a lot more difficult to make it, not only in golf, but to make it in, let's call it the real world, where you're suddenly going to be out on your own and trying to make a success of yourself.
Wow. Big talk on technology. What are some of the offerings you have from an equipment point of view in the academy that you use to improve people's game and that people can expect you to use if they ever get into some sessions with you?
So we are very lucky in the golf industry where for some unknown reason we have some of the best technology in sport. Whoever was able to put in the money and believe that golf was the driver for this technology has done the right thing. I mean, I have a biomech putting system, which analyzes your putting stroke in terms of tempo, loft you're adding, length of stroke, how much face is being rotated, all of that. Then I also have a flight scope, which is actually a launch monitor. So it tracks the ball as it comes off your club face all the way to landing. So it gives you distance, it gives you spin, it gives you club face, it gives you club head speed, it gives you vertical launch, horizontal. I can go on for hours regarding this. But what's great about it, it gives us the nuances that actually is happening at impact. Where on video, in a 2D video, you can't see this 100%. You can guess it, but you cannot physically get the mathematical numbers to say, why is the ball doing this? Where suddenly, with this technology, we're able to link the club face at impact with your swing, and then we're able to revert it back to the fix.
Amazing. That sounds very interesting. And I think obviously because of these technologies, as you mentioned, that golf is fortunate to have such technology. You can imagine people who are probably new to golf, who are probably trying golf, or students who are maybe saying, hey, let me just try the sport out. It looks quite rather, in social terms, very bougie. Let me try and play. I think they would progress a lot quicker. And on the bigger scheme of things, Carl, your observation, having been in golf for a very long time, what is the general impact of the pandemic on golf in South Africa?
Yeah, so I think this is twofold. So we've got the golf courses, the golf coaches, the managers, the retail industry. This whole industry, as golf industry as a whole, was absolutely walloped during lockdown. I mean, to have no one coming to your golf course, no one coming into your studio for lessons. Financially, it was hit hard. There are some guys that obviously hit harder than others, but what we have found getting back out there, because we are one of the few sports that were let out early, there are a lot more new golfers, let's put it this way, a lot more faces I don't recognize coming in every day.
Wow.
Where all the time I see a lot of guys and I recognize a lot of faces, but suddenly we get into a point where I'm like, oh, this is a new guy. I mean, I stood, as a story, I stood on the chipping green the other day, which Centurion is right next to the first tee. And it was a Friday morning, I think. And I saw four balls come through. I've never, without sounding rude, I've never seen such bad golfers playing golf. And it's all because they've never played golf before, but they now being introduced to the game because suddenly we are a sport that is socially acceptable during lockdown. We can get out there, we can learn to play a new game. And never mind the benefits from the business side, from the social side, from doing deals on the course. I think everyone's starting to realize that it's such a good game socially overall.
Awesome. And I think it's a good arrow to have in your quiver if you're a young professional who wants to probably do well and excel from a networking point of view in your industry. So I think golf is a good platform to do that. And obviously getting on with it, getting to speed with it early is always very helpful. But now, Carl, in the long term, in the context of the Phelan Academy, where do you see the Academy going in the next 5 years by 2025? What can we expect?
Yes, I've always believed that I need to, as a coach in golf, I coach golf. That's what we do. So at the academy and the people that I've hired and the people that my colleagues and all that, my whole philosophy in terms of as a coach, I want to introduce this game to as many people as possible. I want to with my different levels. They start at the bottom. In 5 years' time, I want those guys entering at 5 years old. I want that to be with the highest number of golfers possible, so that when they come out when they're older, out of the top of the triangle, they're either very good golfers, professional, they understand the game, they're able to use the benefits of the game socially going forward. So my whole philosophy in 5 years is I want the correct people in 5 years' time. I want the correct people in the correct places to carry over golf and make golf as usable and friendly as possible.
Awesome. Awesome, Carl. Thank you so much for chatting. Thank you for sharing your perspective and also for introducing some of your views on golf, such a unique sport to our community at the University of Pretoria, our student community at the University of Pretoria. Really do appreciate that. So thank you, Cal, for chatting to us.
Yeah, thanks for the time, Lennox. Anytime.
Awesome. That's Coach Phelan who joined me today, chatting all things golf, chatting just what's been happening in the golf world. As you know, this week is the major championship, or the first major that's been played in the US, and we're excited to see how that turns out. But the grander scheme of things, sport is obviously one that unites all of us in this country, and hopefully golf can continue to grow, and through the efforts of coaches such as Coach Phelan and his team, as well as the media as well, we can continue to grow sport, particularly golf, and expose it to as many people as possible. As you do know that there are disciplines, that there are important sort of key values that we can learn through sport, and golf certainly can instill a lot of those. So wish you well, and all the best.